Hello and welcome to tonight's LOL Esports Roundup, where we cover some games in all four major regions: LCS from last night, LPL and LCK from this morning, and the LEC from this afternoon. And then preview tomorrow's schedule in the LPL, LCK, and LEC. We're going to speed run this. If the thumbnails do not look as good, it's because the site I was using has changed their overlay and interface, and it's become a bigger pain in the ass to use. But otherwise, let's do this. 67 and 23 in predictions. 9 and 5 on this board, maybe. No, there's 15. Maybe 10 and 5. 9 and 6. Something like that. LCS, Immortals, Team Liquid. Immortals fall to 2 and 1 as TL win, going to 3 and 0. Pioshik was MVP, going 506 on Lee Sin. Yeon, 703, 28% of damage, led the way for TL. Balulu, 130, 33% of damage in the loss. This was one of the biggest blowouts we've seen all year long. TL may have even set the record for biggest gold lead at 14 minutes in LCS history. It was disgusting. The game was 21 minutes as Pioshik went around the rift, made things happen. The bot lane dominated Immortals bot lane. It was just very, very ugly. As IMT, we're 2-0, and I mean, still have a winning record, so you gotta, no one, I think, expected them to be 2-1 at the end of the week. So, I mean, they can hang their hat on that. They shouldn't have beat NRG, but, I mean, sometimes Immortals wins games like that. Golden Guardians and FlyQuest. FlyQuest fall to 0-3, 16th in the power rankings. The Golden Guardians 1-2. Licorice 527 was MVP on a Yone, dealing a team-leading 28% of damage. River was 2-3 and 15 on a Sejuani. Prince 649, 33% of damage on a Zaya, would take the L. So in the early to mid game, Fly and Golden Guardians were very close. But Licorice had a massive lead in the top lane in CS. I mean, he may have even came close to Flame Horizoning. Impact, it was very, very one-sided. And then once he got involved in the late game, he took over. Because his KP was really low when the game was close. And then as things started to transpire in the very late game, now you see Licorice 527 leading the team in damage. He has really taken an odd step forward at this point in his career. Especially on a champion like Yone, you wouldn't expect that out of Licorice. I thought Gory got the better of Vikla in mid as well, solo killing him at one point. Vikla would return the favor in the side lane later on, trading 1-for-1. And bot lane wise, FlyQuest bot lane was the better one. They got a 2v2 kill early, but Prince started getting caught out in the mid to late game, and that allowed Golden Guardians to keep up, and then GG would find a way to win. EG Dignitas, Dig win. So they've beaten EG twice in a row now. 1-2, EG 2-1. Rich was MVP on a Kesante. Tomo, 418, 32% of damage on a Zaya. Santorin, 5-1-12 in the jungle. Unforgiven, 2-4-3, 33% of damage for EG in the loss. Rich got after Revenge in top lane, and then in team fights I thought played a pivotal role and secured the win. Jensen on Cassiopeia was also very nice. Tomo had timely ultis on the Zaya, so things were going well out of multiple players of Dignitas. Even Diamond was looking kind of good. Hopefully I'm remembering these champions correctly. Obviously, there are a lot of games to look at here, so things kind of mix together sometimes. Jojo and Armeo had some good moments in the early game, and it was close into the mid game, but Dignitas would just out-team fight when it mattered. Just a very surprising thing that Dignitas have EG's number right now, even though EG now have a completely new team outside of Jojo. I mean, Rich finally showing up is nice after a good game yesterday and a loss. So with that in mind, maybe he can help Dignitas get into the top 8. I think that's entirely possible. Especially if Jensen can have some impact. Santorin doesn't int his face off. In the bot lane, most importantly, if Tomo and Diamond doesn't int their face off. NRG 100 Thieves. 100 Thieves 19th in the power rankings, now 1-2, as NRG would win going to 1-2. Contracts was MVP on a Kha'Zix. FBI 5-2-12, 36% of damage, led the team. Ignar 1-0-17 at support, so the bot lane went 6-2-29. Double F 2-3-1, 37% of damage on Zaya? Afelio? Now I'm going to just start naming all the 80 carries. Point is, if you look at this, really, Doublelift didn't die all that much, right? And he still led the team with damage. So, frankly, it's not his fault that they struggled. But Contracts did go to the bot lane early, get a couple kills. I think it was 2 for 1. That provided FBI and Ignar with a little bit of influx of gold and resources. And then they would kind of roll from there. Mid lane, Nuke Duck is, a coach now. So he is not doing as well as he did in the first game. That is pretty clear. Quid is only, if Quid can play with the visa issues, after the visa issues subside, I think this team can be pretty good. Alongside Someday, maybe even Korea Synergy. I know Someday is 100 years older than Quid, old enough to be his dad or something, but that's a thing. But Contracts really gapped closer getting around the rift. Finding plays on the Kazakhs, it was crucial. That allowed the rest of NRG to take hold and carry from there. C9 TSM, C9 15th in the power rankings, 3-0 as they beat TSM, who fell to 1-2. Eminez was MVP on a Kesante mid. I know I'm not a Kesante mid fan, but that says a lot about how I felt his gameplay was today or last night. Blabber 437, 35% of damage on a Kindred again, I believe. Berserker 204 went deathless. Insanity 432, 37% of damage on Ari. So Insanity puts together a couple good games for TSM. As Ruby is sitting in the wings. I don't know if it's a visa issue why Insanity's playing. Maybe they just think he's better. I know they also signed Phoenix. So they have 3 different mids in 3 very different parts of their career. Phoenix, long overdue. Insanity, trying to make any name for himself. And Ruby, trying to... he's going to... If he plays a game in the LCS, he's played a game in all 4 major regions. Not a lot of players can say that. I just thought about that. Yeah, that's a thing. He played in the LPL, he played in the LCK, and this is all that's keeping him from playing in the LCS. But Eminez on Kesante did really well in team fights, did really well in the side lane, I thought. Kindred, Blabber obviously dealing a ton of damage once again. I'm happy to see this because I've said this time and time again, and I had C9 fans upset with me over it, that I felt Blabber was a facilitator-oriented jungler that really didn't have carries in his back pocket as much, and we're seeing C9 play towards Blabber and letting him carry instead of Berserker or Fudge, and or even Eminez for that matter. This is a very different look than what we're used to out of C9, and I think that with that in mind, this makes them this 3-0 is what it is, but in terms of the grand scheme of things, having extra options to approach draft internationally is a massive deal. LPL, OMG, IG. OMG 10th in the power rankings, go to 4-2 as IG fall to 1-5. Oh my god, 1-2-0. Aki was MVP. I thought he was very active and gapped Bashang. Abel 6-0-11, 32% of damage at 80 carry. Cream 9-0-16 on 0-5-3, 30% of damage in the loss. In game 1, Aki was on a Vi. He secured many kills with his point and click. And then in game 2 on the Poppy, he was integral to the success in team fights. Cream's Nico was absolutely cracked as well. Got to give him his flowers. Abel on Tristano was a monster. OMG just blew out IG. Not much really going for them. Even Shanji was really setting up ganks and top lane well against Wen. They were better with YSKM and Tianzhen. So I don't know what IG plan on doing. I know YSKM, I believe, is with Hong Kong for Asia Games. So why isn't Nenny playing? I think Nenny could even be better than Wen. So IG are in some trouble. Weibo, Rare Atom. Weibo, 7th in the power rankings, 4-2 now. 1-1 against Rare Atom, who are now 2-4. Xiaohu was my MVP specifically for his Game 3 performance. Light, 23-7, 15, 37% of damage. He did have 2 quadras in Game 3. Weiwei, 6-3, 32 in the jungle. Assume, 8-9, 17, 31% of damage in the loss. Once again, Rare Atom playing Weibo tough. Last time that happened as well. Top lane, I thought Zhao actually outplayed the Shy in every which way in lane and in team fights, and arguably was Rare Adam's MVP in my opinion. I thought he played excellent. Compared to the Shy. In the jungle, Layan was relatively useless as Wei Wei made a lot of things happen, hence 32 assists in 3 games. Mid lane, Zhao. So, actually, Rare Adam in Game 1 started Mole, and then in Game 2 had Strive in, and Game 3, Strive gapped Mole. Hopefully that's the end of Mole in Rare Adam. I don't want to say his career should be over. That would be mean, but I am not a Mole fan. So, Strive comes in. Rare Adam looked a lot better. Weibo obviously out team fighting them, but in Game 3 it was Light and Zhao. And I felt like Zhao was setting things up on the Ahri and Light was just cleaning up, which in my opinion makes me want to give Zhao the credit because it's easier to clean up than it is to, hit the charm, hit the skill shots, get things done and set things up. So with that in mind, I thought he was the reason why they won Game 3. Facilitator-oriented Zhao. Who would have thought? LNG, EDG. So, LNG moved to 5-2. They're 8th in the power rankings, winning 2-0 against EDG, who are 12th and 2-4. Scout, 13-2, 15, 36% of damage. Scout is on a tear again, looking to, double up on MVPs for the year. Gala, 15-0-11 at 80 carry was MVP. Uzi, 294, 38% of damage in the loss. LNG went after Uzi pretty hard. I thought Uzi and Mako would actually look good into Gala and Hung, and it was not the case. Hung on Blitzcrank in Game 2 is pretty nasty as well. It was a disaster. Zika into Ale. Ale once, I expected something out of Ale like last time. That didn't happen. JJ, I thought, was going to carry in Game 1. He had a big lead over Tarzan in the jungle, like 25 CS in the early game, but did not do anything with it on the Viego, which is concerning. Fofo was useless, dealing under 300 DPM in this one, as Scout dealt over 1,000. So, Gala ends up being MVP because he didn't die. I thought his ultis were good on the Xayah, and, I thought he looked really, really, really good. Now, after saying the 1,000 DPM about Scout compared to Fofo's under 300, I would say the mid-diff was also a pretty big factor in this one, as Fofo needs to overlook this. This is the thing that I'm worried about for EDG, is that Fofo is, I don't think Fofo is a elite mid where every other player on EDG are very good. LCK, so HLE 11th in the power rankings, KDF 17th, both 2-2 now because HLE won 2-0. Viper was MVP, 13-3-2, 37% of damage. Clid, 2-2-15. Bulldog, 3-6-4, 30% of damage in the loss. So yesterday I thought KDF would win this one 2-1. I thought that Dudu over Kingen would be the reason why. Unfortunately, I had the right idea, but Dudu could not get it done. Dudu, I thought, really dominated Kingen in top lane, in lane, and in the side lane later on. And Dudu also was very impactful at other moments, but he could not get anything done. Very impactful, but then couldn't get anything done. All these games. Dudu was very good in lane, opened up leads, but could not do anything with it. And Renekton, back in the meta, no thank you. So, because of that advantage was out the window. Clid also was not inting. He hit all his smites. He's been hitting his smites all season long. I noticed that when I'm doing the player pool, when I look at Zeka and Viper, because people have them in the player pool, and I see that Clid has all the objective points, and I'm like, he's actually hitting his smites. Young Jay was not as active as I would have liked. He needed to do more. Mid lane, Bulldog dealt some damage, but Zeka found moments to be very good, and really altered team fights. His Akali was nasty, and it was like on a razor's edge the entire time he was playing it. What was I going to say? Viper, MVP, right? So, KDF had a lead in both games in the mid-game. Significant gold lead, actually, in one of them, if I recall correctly. And they blew both. And that was because of Viper's team fighting. Viper got after it, and he ended both games himself. He was like, okay, guys, I am the carry of this team. I am one of, if not the best 80 carries in the world, and we are going to get it done, and I'm going to put the rest of the team on my back, and hence 2 assists, 13 kills. Like, you see 80 carries on here. FBI, 5-2-12, dealt a ton of damage, right? Abel, 6-0-11, he looked disgusting. Gala, 15-0-11. Viper, 13-3-2. Viper did all the work. He didn't die a lot. He dealt a ton of damage. He was a big difference maker. T1, Bro. T1, 5th in the power rankings, now 3-1. Bro, 1-3. T1 would win 2-0. Faker was MVP, going 11-3-8, 34% of damage in the win. Carria, 0-1-21 in support. Henna, 1-4-4, 30% of damage for Bro. Once again, Faker leads the way. Honestly, watching it, I thought Guma was better, but looking at the stats, I was like, well, shoot, Faker, I mean, once again, is carrying. And I was saying that I didn't think he had it in him anymore, but it was against Bro, and it was against a rookie in Ivory in his second series, so good for Faker, I guess. Good for Ivory. He can hang this up on his mantle. His maybe he got a signed jersey or something afterwards. Zayu solo killed Morgan, I think, which is the thing in top lane. Otherwise, it was relatively meaningless. I thought Umpty found moments to do things, but unfortunately, Bro are slow and they just don't get too much. So, in the grand scheme of things, by Umpty doing things, it was like a couple plays over 2 games. Where Owner found more opportunities. Now, was he, as good as Lee Sin Owner? No, but I thought his Poppy was fine. I thought he was solid. As Faker did a lot of the work, and Guma cleaned things up when he had the opportunity. Bro are not that good. They beat D+, but they put them to sleep, and that's why it happened. LEC, summer split started in the LEC. Mad Lions 20th in the power rankings, beat Vitality, who are 22nd. Carzy 337, 29% of damage. Chasey was MVP, 407 on a K-Sante. Photon 051, 27% of damage in the loss. So, Chasey solo killed Photon a couple times. We know that Korean top lane matchup is interesting as Chasey tries to show, hey, I am one of the best, if not the best, top laners in the LEC. Which at times last split he wasn't, but other times he really shined. His Jace games really stick out to me, and I thought he came out firing today and was massive because Photon's usually that player that kind of is the glue for Vitality, that gets things done for them when others are not doing it. And Bo on Kindred, I mean, hell, he was on a carry. Now people might say, oh, well, but Elyoya was on Gragas. Then don't pick the Kindred when Gragas is picked. Sorry. That's how that works. That's how drafting and countering works. So, that's the deal there. Just not. You'd expect more out of Vitality. I thought they'd win. I thought Mad Lions were going to lose this one. That did not happen. Vitality looking like FlyQuest in terms of having all these star players but unable to get things done. It's only one game. It's only one game. Heretics, Heretics win. Flacked was MVP in his return to the LEC, once again showing I am LEC tier. Whoever doesn't think so, look at my 15, 2, and 11 with 47% of the team's damage. Mursa, 3-1-23 alongside him, so the bot lane went 18-3 and 34, and this was not on Zeri, it was Lucian Milio. Exakick, 7-7-4, 35% of damage in the loss. I'm a big Exakick fan, I always say it, I think he's going to be one of the greats. But Flacked got after it today. He was making a statement. And maybe it was against SK, but Exakick and DOS were considered and are considered a pretty good bot lane. And for these two to get after him, Flacked to be disgusting is something to really watch because Vethio and mid, Vethio could be and can be the best mid in the LEC if he can get his mental situations squared away when it comes to, how he was feeling with Excel this past couple months. He is super good. So, And then Evie all of a sudden becomes a weak side top that can play tanks and stuff, and he can't be attacked in draft as much and countered and things like that. And Heretics become a lot better because Flackid's aggression here with 47% of the team's damage, Jack ain't doing that. Koi, XL, Koi would win. Comp was MVP, going 6-1-5, 45% of damage. Advian 1-2-10, so the bot lane went 7, 3, and 15 in their debut together. Otawamne 2-3-6, 33% of damage in the loss. It was close for a long time. Koi then found an opportunity in the late game. Comp looked really good in the final few team fights, and they won. In the early game, Malrang really outpaced Peach. Malrang was on the J4, and we know that that is one of, if not his best champions, and he made it work at a high level. However, going top lane a couple times, getting Sisgenda ahead, and, you know, Sisgenda is what he is. So that was kind of weird, but they get it done. XL, really no answer. I mean, XL are what they are. They are what they are. It's like, I'd like to see if Peach has it. I mean, we'll see it. I mean, we'll see. There's a reason why he was cast off at his age, but it is what it is. BDS G2. BDS 18th would lose. G2 14th in the power rankings are victorious. Yike, 4-1-13, 26% of damage on a Maokai. Somehow, some way, he made Maokai carry a thing again. Broken Blade was MVP, 706 on Renekton. He was super good in team fights, the best Renekton of the day, if there could be one. Dealing a ton of damage when it came to it. Now, Yike obviously had built up a lead because Renekton is relatively useless outside of just ulting in there and slicing and dicing, but the one concern when you look at BDS's stat line, you say to yourself, how'd they lose? Well, Adam led the team in damage, 142, 28%. And you may say to yourself, yeah, but that's okay. Otawamne led XL in damage. Photon led Vitality in damage in their losses. Yeah, Adam was on Malphite, and he led in damage. No, not good. So, BDS's bot lane not really showing up in this one, as G2, every which way, got after it. Hopefully BDS, it's just, like I said earlier, this is just one game. I'm just not even going to say the next part. It's just one game. BDS, have to forget this, go on to tomorrow. Fnatic Astralis, Fnatic win. Noah was MVP in his debut, going 7-0-10, 30% of damage. Humanoid was MVP, 5-1-12 on a LeBlanc. Leader, 3-6-7, 36% of damage on Annie. The issue with this Astralis deal was that, let me just look at something. Yeah. I was trying to make sure I wasn't going to think about the sneak peek and it threw me off. Finn and Leader dealt like more than 2/3 of the team's damage in this one. That's why they lost. So you may say to yourself, yeah, but the support in jungle, there's 33% there. I mean, oh, well, if you do the math and like say they both had like 10%, now there's like 12, 13% left over for Kabe. What the hell was the bot lane of Astralis doing in this game? They certainly weren't dealing damage. Younghoon found some nice plays at times in the early to mid game, but then Fnatic just took over in team fights. Noah just playing very, very well on the Aphelios. Trimby being alongside Noah. That's very nice to see. You know. Thought the top lane, we got Oscarinin and Finn. Finn was better. Mid, Humanoid was better on the LeBlanc. I thought that he did really well in team fights as well. So, yeah. Fnatic win. Humanoid looked good. Noah looked good. For Astralis, Razork also looked good on Viego. Got to give him his flowers. But I thought that Finn was definitely the better top laner in this one, and that Finn and Leader deserved better out of their bot lane in this loss. So, that's it for the recap portion of this video. Now on to the sneak peek. All right. Sneak peek for tomorrow. LCK, Live Sandbox, KT. Sandbox 25th in the power rankings, 1 and 2, coming off of a loss to T1. KT 9th, 2 and 1, coming off of a win against DRX. Last time they played was in spring playoffs. KT won 3-1. The only roster difference is that Sandbox now have Teddy instead of Envy at 80 carry. So Cuz led the way, going 13-5, 28, 19% of damage for KT. Willer had a decent KDA at 7-8, 14, 13%. So not often do we see Cuz with a positive KDA like that. And Willer was competitive, so that was the most competitive matchup from that last time they played. Obviously, aiming versus Teddy will be a highlighted matchup for tomorrow. Nongshim versus D+. Nongshim Red Force 1 and 2. A loss to Gen G was their last series. D+, 6th in the power rankings, 2 and 1. Lost to Bro last time they're on the Rift. When these two teams played last in spring, D+ won 2-0. Roster differences. Don't know if Deft still has COVID, so we're going to pretend he's not playing. And then Quad might be playing for Nongshim instead of Fiesta. So, Kana, Canyon, Kellen went 23-3, 49 in the win for 1,263 DPM, 53%. Din Din, Sylvie, Peter went 6, 23, and 6, 614 DPM, so less than half of D+, and 44% of the damage. So, that one, D+ definitely have to recover from their upset loss a couple days ago. LPL. Ninja in Pajamas versus Thunder Talk. Nip, 24th in the power rankings, 4 and 3, coming off of a win against Ultra Prime. Thunder Talk 1 and 5, coming off of a loss to BLG. Thunder Talk won 2-0 in spring when these two teams played. Roster changes. So in the jungle this time, it will be Shadow for Nip versus Zhao Haogren for Thunder Talk. And then in mid, we have Angel for Nip. At 80 carry, we have 1XN for Thunder Talk. So, the only holdovers are top and support. Hoya Yao Yao went 5-8-35 in the win for 725 DPM, only 1/4 of the percentage of the share. Invincible in Ju went 2-15-7, 637 DPM for 1/3 of Nip's damage. So, less damage, higher share, obviously key to a loss. Top in RNG, Top Esports 4th in the power ranking, 6 and 1, coming off of a win against LGD. RNG 23rd in the power rankings, 3 and 3, coming off of a win against FPX. When these two teams played in spring, Top won 2-0. The only roles that are the same are jungle. Top lane, Ching Tian played, so Wayward's playing for that one. RNG had Angel at the time, now they are starting Tangwan. And then bot lane, RNG have LP and Lamau. So Tian went 5-8-24 with 13% of damage in the win. Wei 3-6-8, 17% in the loss. So Wei a bit more damage. Tian obviously winning the series. A lot of differences there. I think that one could be a decent series to watch, especially when afterwards we have a monster series. JDG first in the power ranking, 6 and 1. Coming off of a win against Anyone's Legend against BLG, who are second at 6 and 0. This is the MSI rematch. BLG beat Thunder Talk last time they're on the Rift. When they played at MSI, JDG won 3-1. They did play multiple times at MSI. JDG have won every matchup against BLG this season. Knight went 19-7-13 for 34% in the win. Yagao 6-11-11, 23%. So Knight was a lot more impactful and a lot better than Yagao. A lot of people want to cite how Yagao played good against Knight last year. And I would say, yeah, on JDG alongside Kanavi. Now he's alongside Shun. A lot of people like Shun, but he's not Kanavi. And BLG, well, honestly, if you really think about it, they're slightly worse than well, they are more than slightly worse than JDG last year. But I think that they do earn some bans. I think Bin earns bans. I think Elk earns bans. So, yeah, that one obviously is a monster series tomorrow. LEC, Vitality, SK, both 0-1. Vitality won last time they played in spring. Upset went 3-1-7 in the win, 40% of damage. Exakick 2-2-3, 30% in the loss. Fnatic XL, Fnatic won the last time they played. Ottawamne went 5-0-3, 23%. Oscarinen 0-4-0, 19% in the loss. Every other role is different. Those all 10 remain the same. This one different. So jungle, XL have Peach. Mid lane, XL have Abadage. AD carry, Fnatic have Noah. Support, Fnatic have Trimby. Those are the differences. So a lot of differences. Mad Lions G2. Mad Lions 20th in the power rankings. G2 14th. G2 1-3-0 at MSI. Yike went 15-7-23 for 18% in the win. Elyoya 11-9-14, 19% in the loss. So both as impactful in damage share. Yike obviously a little bit nicer KDA, but given that Elyoya was 3-0, that's a pretty good KDA to have if it's positive. Surprise Mad Lions won against Vitality today. So obviously this is probably the second best game after that series today. BDS and Koi. BDS 18th in the power rankings. Last time they played was in the group stage of LEC Spring, and BDS would win 2-0. Nuke dominated that one, going 18-3-20, 34% in the win. Larson 8-10-4, 17% in the loss. 17% of damage out of your mid is a recipe for a big fat L. Team Heretics Astralis. Last time they played, Astralis won. Roster differences. Heretics now have Vethio and Flackett at mid 80 carry. So, with that in mind, Finn 113 and Yonghoon in the win went 4-5-26, 947 DPM, 42% of the share. Evie, Yankos, Murso went 4-11-12, 693 DPM, so 250 less, but 53% of the share, so 10% higher share, 250 less DPM. That's an L. So, yeah. A lot of games tomorrow, but not as many as today's roundup. Obviously, this is coming out later than I would like. Hopefully, the thumbnail situation works out for me so this video doesn't take even longer to put up. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and hope to see you again tomorrow.